Hello, and you're welcome to Global Business Insights, where we look at headlines from a deeper business perspective. The latest data published by the Office for National Statistics showed the United Kingdom economy did not grow over the month in July after also stalling in June. The market forecast was for a 0.2% growth in the reported period. Asian markets wobbled and US stock futures slipped after Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump clashed in a keenly awaited and watched US presidential debate. American singer and songwriter Taylor Swift formally endorsed Kamala Harris, calling her a steady-handed and gifted leader just after the debate with Donald Trump on ABC network. The S&P 500 yesterday, however, inched up on pace for stronger gains as Wall Street struggled to rebound back after a tough start in September. Market cap giants Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, and Broadcom all added at least 2%, helping the Nasdaq go up 0.84%. Oil prices climbed early trading today, recovering after the previous day's losses as concerns about Hurricane Francine disrupted output in the US, outweighing worries about weak global demand. Crude yesterday had slipped as Brent crude fell under $70 per barrel, the lowest level since December 2021. In OPEC's monthly report, it saw demand growth in 2024 up by about 2.0 million barrels per day, 80,000 barrels less than its prior estimate. They also lowered their 2025 growth forecast, with sluggish China economy as one of the main drivers of the downward revision. Brent this morning, $69.60 per barrel. ExxonMobil shares sank 3.1% yesterday as low prices and volatility hurt sentiment. It was also reported that ExxonMobil pulled out of a race to buy a stake in a promising Namibian oil discovery. Not allowed to milk the full victory of its recent product launch, Apple was told by the European Union's top court that it must pay 13 billion euros in back taxes, overturning an earlier decision in the big tech group's favor. The ruling relates to a 2016 case when the EU's competition chief Margrethe Vestager said Ireland had given Apple an illegal sweetheart deal amounting to a tax rate of less than 1%. Apple unveiled what it said was the first smartphone designed ground up for artificial intelligence that it hopes local customers will upgrade their devices. We'll talk about the launch. And hours after the launch, Chinese smartphone company Huawei said its new trifold smartphone will start at the equivalent of more than $2,800. Today, the Labor Department Bureau of Labor Statistics will release August CPI in the US. And tomorrow we also get a producer price index report. That's the wholesale inflation read. CPI today is expected to come in 2.5, 2.6%, a deceleration from July's 2.9% annual gain in prices. Month-on-month consumer prices also expected to have risen 0.2%, matching July's monthly increase. We will bring the CPI data read to you in the next episode. Yesterday, German inflation fell to its lowest level in over 3 years as the Harmonized Index of Consumer Prices, HICP, hit 2%. By the way, that's the ECB, European Central Bank's goal. Egypt's inflation rate rose to 26.2% in August, up from 25.7% the previous month, marking an end to 5 months of deceleration. The increase follows fuel subsidy cuts and disrupts expectations of an imminent interest rate cut. Kenyan Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says the East African nation is stepping up plans for a bond sale targeted at citizens living abroad to help raise funds for infrastructure projects. The National Treasury is reviving a collaboration with the World Bank's Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency to structure a diaspora bond. The plans had been on hold on concerns about whether its overseas citizens, that is Kenyans, would buy enough of the debt. I watched the much-awaited Trump-Harris debate. Here are some of my takeaways. Very revealing on some issues, yet lacking in substance on most. The Harris campaign have already said they are open to another debate, perhaps an admission of the vacuum in content. The Trump campaign are likely to agree only if they can do it with the network they perceive as fairer. Still, the Democrats must be pleased with how it went. Also, I do see that Harris is likely to get a better response from undecided voters. Already, after the debate, Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris, urging her 283 million voters to do the same. Still, Harris carefully dodged the most important question on whether Americans were better off in the last 3 years than in the Trump era. Trump also dodged many questions like on climate change and underplayed many slurs based on events that he said happened decades ago, saying today's issues should be what is on the front burner. Ending by saying, why has Kamala not fixed some of the more pressing issues in her time as a VP? ABC was less persistent in getting Kamala to explain her many well-known flip-flops, often asking Kamala what she thought of Trump's bad record on A and B. We call that putting the answer inside the question. Fact-checking as the debate progressed was also clearly one-sided, and of course Kamala Harris took advantage. The debate revealed more of Kamala, who many wanted to hear from, and they did, and learn more about her. And like I said, Kamala's debate performance was better. She had all the lines clearly delivered and had the talk and debate technique, though I am unsure of how American voters will respond and if this changes the tightness of the race. Let's wait and see, as both sides will be rushing out new ads to influence voters. The bigger reveal for me, however, was how much more intensely divided America is, and this debate exacerbated the divisions. Obviously, the Democrats and Republicans do not see economy, the abortion issue, foreign policy, and immigration in anywhere near the same light. One can see that whoever wins the elections has a huge job in bridging the divides. Both Republican and Democrats in Congress are claiming victory from the debate, but polls after the debate, I think, likely will give Harris the edge, but not a material one. Still, today's debate reduces Trump's chances of a return to the White House. In the evening, we'll bring you any updates on the polls after the debate. Apple Wall Street analysts see iPhone sales boosted as the new Apple Intelligence features catch on. There is an enhanced Siri voice assistant, photo editing features, writing aids, plus free access to ChatGPT through a partnership with OpenAI, and the AirPod enhanced to deliver clinical grade hearing tests and also be a hearing aid, plus also new mail and notification summaries, all for a handsome price as we see this first wave of AI infused devices. Apple Intelligence will also be available on iPads and MacBooks. The iPhone 16 is in 4 models: the Pro, Pro Max Plus, and a base model. The Pro and Pro Max come with a larger screen and a more advanced camera, but not cheap, with the Pro coming in at $999 and the larger Pro Max costing $1,199. The chip said to be designed on ARM's next generation V9 architecture jumps 2 generations ahead, with the A18 up to 30% faster than the processors in the iPhone 15, and even challenging high-end desktop PCs. Said to be the fastest CPU in any smartphone. The Apple Watch Series 10 has a bigger display, thinner design, faster battery charging, and a new S10 chip for machine learning, and has a new sleep apnea detection feature. I've always thought that bundling medical features into the more traditional features as brilliant. You need that extra artificial intelligence plus health to lure buyers at a time when consumer demand for new smartphones is slowing. But when you buy these devices, you're also likely to add iCloud storage and subscribe to Apple TV Plus. Last quarter, Apple sales from digital services alone reached a massive $24.2 billion. Also, mostly underwhelmed, analysts said both Apple Watch and AirPods are getting hardware redesigns that dramatically improved user experience and set even higher bars for the wearable industry, while in comparison, the iPhone 16 family unveiled incremental upgrades. This is a long-term play for Apple, as we see many upgrading, maybe first from much lower models like iPhone 13 and fewer exiting the Apple ecosystem at a time when competitors like Huawei are not pulling punches in the market. Apple scores, in my view, an A for effort built on its innovation DNA, funded by a massive cash chest. Apple continues to lead as the most valuable company in US stock markets, well able to shrug off a fresh $13 billion European Union bill in back taxes. Oil trading giant Glencore and its former head of oil, Alex Bird, faced bribery charges yesterday in a London court relating to the Swiss commodity traders' operations in Nigeria and Cameroun. The charges consist of 2 counts of conspiracy to make corrupt payments to government officials and officials of state-owned oil companies in Nigeria between 2010 and 2014, and in Cameroun between 2007 and 2014. We will be following this case more from the perspective on what it means in terms of governance in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. The question is not so much more about what happened or did not happen in 2014, but if corrupt payments are still today being made to government officials and officials of state-owned companies in Nigeria and Cameroun, and if the controls, checks, and balances have been made materially tighter. In Nigeria, the president is the petroleum minister. That's a red flag from a governance perspective, and he retains firm control of NNPCL, the state oil company, which is still fully owned by the government, even though it's been incorporatized. Allegations are rife that deals are less than transparent and not above board, although there is no direct evidence that bribery continues to taint the industry. Also, separating governance, regulation, and players in clear entities with enough checks and balances is yet to be fully achieved, though there has been some progress with the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act. Asia-Pacific markets traded lower overnight as key Wall Street benchmarks rose ahead of the US consumer inflation report coming out later today. We also saw Hong Kong-listed Chinese biotechnology shares recovering some ground, and that's a day after a sell-off was prompted by US legislation restricting their operations in America. Well, that's it from me on Global Business Insights. This is Bode Oshosami. Thanks for sharing and following or subscribing on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube and X. Again, thank you so very much for watching. Bye-bye.